Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I didn't disappear out of anger. That's the part people get wrong. Anger is loud. It slams doors, sends paragraphs of text, demands explanations. What I did was quiet, deliberate, final. I vanished because something in me finally understood that the man who keeps explaining himself to someone who keeps lying is already gone. My name is Daniel. I'm 38. I work in logistics, long hours, steady pay, predictable life. I met her, Emily, almost 4 years ago at a friend's engagement party in Manchester. She had that easy kind of confidence, the kind that didn't beg for attention, but somehow collected it anyway. She laughed with her whole body, leaned in when you spoke, made you feel like the room had narrowed down to just the two of you. I wasn't looking for anything serious back then. Neither was she. That's how it started. For a long time, it worked. We moved in together after a year, split expenses, shared routines, Sunday grocery runs, late-night takeout on Fridays. It wasn't fireworks, but it was real. Or at least, that's what I thought. The lies didn't come all at once. They never do. They arrive softly, wearing reasonable excuses. A changed password here. A missed call there. Sorry, my phone died. I stayed late. You know how work is. I believed her because believing her was easier than accepting the alternative. Because she still kissed me goodbye in the mornings. Because she still said, "Love you," before bed. But something shifted about 8 months ago. She became distant in a way that felt rehearsed, like she'd practiced not caring. Conversations turned shallow. Eye contact shorter. When I asked her how her day was, she'd answer, but her mind stayed somewhere else. I'd find her smiling at her phone, then quickly locking the screen when I walked by. When I asked who she was texting, she'd say, "Just Sophie," or "work stuff," without looking up. The first time I caught a lie, it was small, almost laughable. She told me she was meeting her cousin for drinks. Later that night, I saw a photo on Instagram. Same bar, same table. No cousin, just her and a man I didn't recognize, sitting too close, laughing like they shared history. When I asked her about it the next day, calmly, she didn't hesitate. "Oh, he just joined later." I didn't think it mattered. That was lie number one. Not because of what she said, but because of how easily she said it. After that, I started noticing patterns. Stories that didn't line up. Timelines that shifted depending on the day. Details that changed when repeated. I didn't confront her immediately. I watched. I listened. I learned. There's a strange clarity that comes when you stop trying to prove someone wrong and start observing them honestly. One night, she came home late, smelling faintly of a cologne I didn't own. She went straight to the shower, phone in hand. I stood in the kitchen, staring at the clock, realizing something simple and devastating. She wasn't careless. She was confident I wouldn't leave. The moment everything broke wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no accusations. It was a Tuesday evening. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling, legs tucked under her. I asked her, "Is there something you're not telling me?" She sighed, exaggerated, annoyed. "Why do you always do this?" I asked again, slower this time, "Is there someone else?" She laughed, not because it was funny, but because she didn't think I had the nerve to ask. "You're being paranoid, Daniel." That was the moment I knew, not because she admitted anything, but because she didn't take me seriously enough to lie better. That night, after she fell asleep, I packed quietly. Clothes, documents, my laptop. I didn't leave a note. I didn't send a message. I blocked her number, her email, her socials. By morning, I was gone. No explanations, no closure, just absence. What she didn't know then was that silence can be louder than confrontation, and it lasts a lot longer. For the first few days after I left, I imagined she'd notice immediately, that she'd wake up, see the empty wardrobe, the missing toothbrush, the quiet side of the bed, and understand. But later, I learned the truth. She didn't panic right away. She assumed I'd gone to cool off, that I'd be back. People who lie for comfort often believe comfort is permanent. It took 3 days before the first attempt came through. An email sent from her work account. Short, casual. Hey, where did you go? This isn't funny. I didn't reply. The next day, another one. Daniel, please answer. I'm worried. Still nothing. By the end of the week, the tone changed. I don't understand why you're doing this. We need to talk. I let every word sit unanswered. Silence was no longer an accident. It was a message. I stayed with my brother, in Leeds at first, slept on a mattress in his spare room. I told him only what mattered, that I'd had enough. He didn't ask for details. Men understand each other in omissions. After 2 weeks, I found a small flat near the river, signed a 6-month lease. New routines, new mornings. I started running again. Lost weight I didn't realize I was carrying. For the first time in months, my chest felt light. Meanwhile, she unraveled. Friends started reaching out. Mutuals at first. Emily's not okay. She doesn't know what she did wrong. I didn't respond to them either. Then came the handwritten letter. She mailed it to my office, the only address she hadn't been blocked from. 6 pages. Apologies tangled with excuses. Confessions buried under self-pity. She admitted there was someone else. It didn't mean anything, she wrote. I never planned to leave you. That line almost made me laugh. As if intention mattered more than action. I burned the letter. Months passed. I heard pieces through the grapevine. The other man hadn't worked out. Apparently, he never wanted anything serious. She tried to go back to normal, only to realize normal was gone. She started therapy, started posting quotes about accountability and growth. I didn't look. I didn't need to. I was busy rebuilding something quieter, sturdier. Then, one evening in early autumn, I saw her in person for the first time since I left. I was leaving a cafe near my flat when she stepped into my path like she'd been waiting. She looked different, thinner, tired, hopeful in a way that hurt to see. Daniel, she said, like she was afraid the name might disappear if she said it too loud. I stopped, not because I owed her, but because I wasn't running anymore. I've been trying to reach you for months, she said. You vanished. I didn't vanish, I replied. I left. She started crying immediately, not softly, desperately. She told me about the regret, about the mistakes, about how losing me had been the wake-up call she needed. She said she'd do anything to earn my trust back. Anything. Therapy. Transparency. Time. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Here's the truth I didn't tell her then, but understood completely. I didn't leave because she lied. I left because she thought I would stay anyway. Because she believed love meant tolerance without limits. Because she mistook my patience for weakness. I'm glad you're working on yourself, I said, honestly. But you're doing it too late. And not for me. She asked if there was someone else. I shook my head. There doesn't have to be, I said. Sometimes the damage is enough. She stood there, nodding, trying to accept something she couldn't undo. When I walked away, she didn't follow. For the first time, she respected the boundary. I never went back. Not because I hated her, but because I finally loved myself more than a version of me that kept waiting to be chosen. Vanishing was a revenge. It was self-respect. And the silence I left behind said everything I never needed to explain.